Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. Right now, as you watch this, are you trading hours for dollars? Are you waking up every morning, driving to work, clocking in, and getting paid for the time you spend there? If you are, I need you to understand something critical. You are trapped in a system that was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you working. Now, before you click away thinking this is just another rant against having a job, stay with me. Because what I am about to share with you is not about quitting your job tomorrow or taking reckless risks. This is about understanding a fundamental truth that separates those who build real wealth from those who spend their entire lives chasing it. The wealthy do not sell their time. They buy other people's time. Think about that for a moment. When you work a job, you are selling the most finite resource you have, your time. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can only work so many of those hours before your body and mind give out. This creates a ceiling on your income. Even if you get promoted, even if you negotiate a raise, you are still constrained by the hours in a day. But the person who owns the business you work for, they figured out something different. They figured out how to disconnect income from time. They built a system where their money works while they sleep, where their employees generate value while they are on vacation, where their investments compound while they are playing with their grandkids. This is not about being greedy. This is about understanding how money actually works. Let me tell you a story. Back in the 1970s, there were two friends who graduated from the same college. Same degree, same grades. Both smart, hardworking guys. One took a job at a prestigious company, good salary, benefits, corner office eventually. He worked there for 35 years, diligent, reliable. By the time he retired, he had saved about $1 million in his 401k. Not bad at all by most standards. The other guy took a job too, but he did something different. He lived below his means, way below, while his friend was upgrading to a bigger house and a nicer car. This guy stayed in a modest apartment and drove a used Honda. But here is what he did with the difference. He bought rental properties, one at a time, fixed them up himself on weekends, rented them out. After 10 years, he had 5 properties. The rent covered the mortgages and then some. He took that extra money and bought more properties. He reinvested everything. By year 20, he had 15 properties, all generating positive cash flow. By year 30, he owned them outright, no mortgages. When both men reached 65, the first guy had his $1 million 401k. Respectable, safe. The second guy, his properties were worth over $8 million and generating 40 zalos in a month in rental income. Same starting point, same number of years, completely different understanding of how wealth is built. The difference was not intelligence. It was not luck. It was understanding that wealth comes from owning assets that produce income, not from selling your time for a paycheck. Here is what most people get wrong. They think the goal is to make more money per hour, get a better job, climb the ladder, make 6 figures, and yes, earning more is good, but it misses the entire point, because even if you make $200 an hour, you are still trading time for money. You are still trapped in the same fundamental equation. The real question you should be asking is this: how do I stop being the product and start owning the factory? When you work a job, you are the product. Your employer buys your time and skills, adds them to their system, and sells the output for more than they pay you. That difference is called profit. And that profit does not go to you. It goes to the owners, to the shareholders, to the people who own the system. Now, I am not saying employment is evil or that you should never have a job. Jobs provide stability. They provide training. They provide a platform to learn skills. But if your entire financial strategy is to work hard and save a percentage of your paycheck, you are playing a game you cannot win. Not because you are not good enough, but because the math does not work in your favor. Inflation erodes your savings. Taxes take a huge chunk of your income, and time keeps moving forward whether you are working or not. The system is rigged, but not in the way most people think. It's not rigged against you personally. It's rigged against anyone who only knows how to trade time for money. The game is designed to reward those who understand leverage, compounding, and ownership. Let me break this down in a way that will change how you see money forever. There are only three ways to make money in this world. You can sell your time, you can sell products or services, or you can put your money to work. Most people only ever learn the first method. They spend 40 years selling their time and wonder why they never get ahead. The wealthy understand all three, but they focus obsessively on the third one. They understand that money, when properly deployed, can multiply itself without any additional input from them. This is not magic. This is mathematics. Here's a simple example. Let's say you have $10,000 saved up. If you keep it in a regular savings account earning maybe 1% interest, in 10 years you will have about 11,000, barely kept pace with inflation. You effectively went nowhere, but what if you understood how to put that money to work differently? What if you invested it in an index fund averaging 10% returns? In 10 years, that 10,000 becomes the 26,000. You did nothing except understand where to put the money. That extra 15,000 came from the work of thousands of companies and millions of employees, but you captured a portion of their collective productivity. Now scale that up. What if instead of 10,000 you had 100,000 invested? That same 10% return gives you 10,000 per year. You just created a part-time income without working a single hour. That's the beginning of freedom. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people never get to 100,000 in investments because they are too busy trying to keep up with their lifestyle. They get a raise and immediately increase their spending. Bigger house, newer car, fancier vacations. They are running on a treadmill, and every time they run faster, someone increases the speed. The wealthy think differently. When they make more money, they do not inflate their lifestyle proportionally. They widen the gap between what they earn and what they spend. That gap is where wealth is built. That gap is where freedom lives. I know what some of you are thinking, but I need to enjoy life now. I cannot just save every penny and live like a monk. And you are absolutely right. This is not about deprivation. This is about intentionality. It's about understanding what actually makes you happy versus what you have been conditioned to think you need. Do you really need a 60,000 car, or would a reliable 25,000 car get you to the same destinations? That 35,000 difference invested properly over 30 years becomes over 600,000. You just traded a fancier car for more than $500,000 of future freedom. Was the leather interior and the premium sound system worth 15 years of your working life? These are the questions the wealthy ask themselves constantly. Not because they are cheap, but because they understand opportunity cost. Every dollar spent is a dollar that cannot be invested. Every dollar invested is a dollar that can multiply and eventually buy back your time. And that's what this is really about. Buying back your time. Because time is the only thing you can never get more of. You can always make more money. You can always build more wealth. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Think about the average American. They work from age 22 to age 67. That's 45 years. Roughly 90,000 hours of their life spent working. And at the end, if they are lucky, they have enough saved to live modestly for another 15 or 20 years. They traded half a century of their life for a decade or two of limited freedom. Now imagine a different path. What if you spent your 20s and 30s not climbing the corporate ladder, but building assets? What if you lived modestly, invested aggressively, and focused on creating income streams that did not require your time? What if by 45 or 50, you had enough passive income to cover your expenses? You just bought back 15 to 20 years of your life. Years when you are still healthy, still energetic, still able to do the things you always dreamed about. That's not fantasy. That's mathematics and discipline. But here's the trap that keeps most people stuck. They think they need to make a huge income first before they can start investing. They think they need to wait until they are making six figures or until they pay off all their debt or until the timing is perfect. And while they wait, years go by, decades go by, and compound interest, which could have been their greatest ally, never gets the chance to work its magic. The truth is, you can start with whatever you have right now, even if it's just $50 a month, because the habit of investing is more important than the amount. The psychology of seeing your money work for you, even in small amounts, changes how you think about wealth. It shifts you from being a consumer to being an owner. And that shift in identity is everything. Because once you see yourself as an owner rather than just an employee, your entire decision-making process changes. You start asking different questions. You start seeing opportunities everywhere. You start noticing that the coffee shop on your corner is always packed. And you think about whether the owner might want to open a second location with a partner. You start realizing that the skills you have developed at your job could be packaged into a consulting service that you run on the side. You start understanding that the unused room in your house could generate over $800 a month on Airbnb, which over a year is nearly $10,000 of investment capital you did not have before. The employee mindset sees a paycheck as the finish line. The owner mindset sees a paycheck as the starting line. Let me give you another example that illustrates this perfectly. There was a woman I know who worked as a teacher. She made $45,000 a year. Not wealthy by any means, but she understood something most people do not. She understood that wealth is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. She drove a 12-year-old car. She lived in a small apartment. She brought her lunch to work every day. Her coworkers thought she was struggling financially. They felt sorry for her. Meanwhile, she was saving $1,500 and $500 every single month. That is $18,000 a year on a $45,000 salary. Most people making twice as much were not saving half that amount. But here is where she was truly brilliant. She did not just save that money. She invested it every month like clockwork. $1,500 went into low-cost index funds. She did this for 25 years, never deviated from the plan, never panicked during market downturns, never tried to time the market or pick hot stocks. Just consistent, boring, disciplined investing. When she retired at 55, do you know how much she had? Over $2 million. On a teacher's salary, no inheritance, no lottery winnings, just understanding the principles of living below your means and letting compound interest do the heavy lifting. Meanwhile, her colleagues who made similar salaries but spent everything they earned retired at 65 with maybe $200,000 if they were lucky. Same job, same income, completely different outcomes. The difference was not opportunity. It was understanding. This is what I mean when I say the system is not rigged against you. The system is actually quite fair if you understand the rules. The problem is that most people never learn the rules. They play the game without knowing how scoring works, and then they wonder why they are losing. The rules are actually quite simple. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference consistently. Give it time to compound. Avoid debt on depreciating assets. Increase your income when possible, but do not inflate your lifestyle proportionally. Own assets that generate passive income. And most importantly, understand that your time is your most valuable asset, so structure your life to buy it back as quickly as possible. That is it. That is the entire playbook. It is not complicated, but it requires something most people are unwilling to give: delayed gratification. We live in a culture of instant everything, instant food, instant entertainment, instant gratification. You want something, you buy it now and pay for it later with credit. This mentality is financially lethal because wealth building is the exact opposite. It is about sacrificing now so you can have freedom later. It is about being uncomfortable today so you can be comfortable for the rest of your life. And I know that is hard. I know it is difficult to drive a modest car when your friends are leasing luxury vehicles. I know it is challenging to stay home while everyone else is posting vacation photos on social media. I know it feels like you are missing out, but here is what you need to understand: they are not ahead of you. They are just in debt. That luxury car, leased. The vacation, credit card. The big house, mortgage to the hilt. They look wealthy, but they are actually trapped. They cannot quit their jobs because they need the paycheck to service their debt. They are prisoners to their lifestyle. And the saddest part is, most of them do not even realize it. Real wealth is not what you show. It is what you own. It is waking up and knowing that if you never worked another day in your life, you would still be fine. It is having options. It is having freedom. It is having time to spend with people you love, doing things that matter to you. And you cannot buy that with a salary. You can only build it with assets. So here is what I want you to do. I want you to make a decision right now. Not tomorrow, not next month, right now. Decide that you are done selling your time as your primary wealth building strategy. Decide that you are going to start thinking like an owner instead of an employee. Decide that you are going to take control of your financial future instead of hoping someone else takes care of you. Then take action. Open an investment account if you do not have one. Set up automatic transfers so you pay yourself first before you pay anyone else. Start educating yourself about money, investing, and wealth building. Read books. Listen to podcasts. Study how wealthy people think and operate. And most importantly, start today. Because every day you wait is a day of compound interest you can never get back. Your future self is watching you right now. They are hoping you make the right choice. They are hoping you understand that the temporary sacrifice is worth the permanent freedom. Do not let them down. The employee trap is real, but you do not have to stay in it. The door is open. You just have to walk through it.